I have been on a content making bender for the past 3 hours, and at some point of it, I went on to look for this. And just before I have miraculously retrieved it, I have stumbled upon something that I believe to be the very first musical instrument that I have ever owned. The almighty, infamous recorder. Now, if you've hated music lessons in kindergarten, and especially if you are a music teacher for the elementary school classes, well, first of all, I applaud you if you love music or can stand music, or even, especially if you're a teacher, aren't deaf yet. There are Stephen King novels being written about prison camps where the captives had to endure hours of 12 of these babies being played at the same time very poorly, which I am soon about to demonstrate, undoubtedly. And then later on, these prisoners went on to lose their minds and became poor, no good zombies without drive, without purpose. Speaking of no drive and no purpose, I'm quickly going to say something completely random that AI wouldn't have come up with. Train, dogs, asshole, asshole, asshole. I am real. Now, jokes aside, recently I have discovered that one of my absolute favorite albums of all time, Songs from the Big Chair by Tears for Fears, were actually almost in entirety written by Orzabal and Smith on guitar prior to transferring them to the production phase. Well, and let's just say it got me thinking, because if you listen to the hip hop from the 90s, 80s era, and you realize that a lot of these recordings have been produced on the SP1200, the MPC 60, machines that were somewhat limited in their abilities, you start sort of romanticizing this idea of limitation because, well, anybody who had opened Arturia's analog lab over the past 2 years likely at some point exclaimed something short of, "My fucking God, there's just so much of it here." So it is nice to be limited. And matter of fact, I am going to prove to you today that you can write a decent song using just a recorder for writing music only. And then, of course, we're going to transfer it to other instruments. Before we proceed, I would like to introduce myself because this is, after all, my new channel. My name is Augustin. Well, Space Cat Augustin. I have over 10 years of experience with making music, and I can define my style by something of a interstellar eclecticism, as I have experienced in many, many different genres. You can find my music on Spotify, Apple Music, a lot. You can find me on Instagram using the handle SpaceCatAugustin. My latest LP, Flowstructionism, is available for purchase on Bandcamp. And for those tuning in who speak the mighty language of Polish, I can refer you to my other YouTube channel, Augustin Does Raps. There's plenty of other stuff over there. So without further ado, let's go and write that song. And with things like this, I typically start to kind of have a hit at it, throw a bunch of notes at the wall and see what sticks. Fuck. Oh. Throw that into that loop. I got a 4-bar loop now. This could be arpeggiated bass, because I mean, we're talking Tears for Fears 80s. Let's just try something else. Oh. Okay. So next layer, and I'm thinking about, I'm gonna want to target these three jabs here. Okay. I wonder if I have space for one more. And I'm gonna leave the last two notes off because it's already packed. That concludes it. I mean, melodically, I am of course about to write an entire rhythm section on that as well. How do I get this thing to sound like an overhead? Oh shit, wait, there's these holes here. It gives me a little like guiro thing. Okay, we have literally, I'm calling this literally the one more track because after that, I don't see any possibility. I mean, I can use my mouth because I've been using my mouth the past couple of minutes with it. Yeah, that'll be it. This is what I got. This is what we got. Cause we're in this thing together. Now we can go to Analog Lab. And I am slowly going to transfer all of these ideas like onto, let's think. I have this guy. I mean, you know, I'm just gonna go guitar here. Do I want a bass? I want a bass. All right, so. But I need it to snap a little harder. Do we fire up the Waldorf? We've got our Waldorf sound, and let's find our last contestant. Okay, and now for the rhythm section. All right, so we dealt with recording everything. Now, should I make it sound a little nicer? I probably should. Okay, this has been an interesting job. This is what the composition with flute only sounds like. And this is what it sounds like after it's been transferred to various other different instruments other than the recorder. Obviously, I'm at a point where I've listened to the damn loop. I completely butchered my ears with it for the past hour and a half or something. And because I was not, in fact, able to give you my unbiased assessment after that insanely heavy exposure to, after all, just only a 4-bar loop, I am going to do this now. First of all, obviously I need a shave. Second of all, I am coming to a conclusion that if you, in fact, are writing on a flute, you are most likely to arrive at something very tribal. I'm not necessarily talking Peruvian flutes, but anything tribal, anything Latin, anything very sort of light-hearted. This has to do first and foremost with the fact that you are likely going to write in C major, but you are likely to arrive at something light and jumpy because, well, you're limited to a very short frequency spectrum, and also recorder seems to have this kind of attack thing, which makes it very dynamic. But also it could be interesting to see what happens if I don't just focus on a 4-bar loop, but I try to write an actual like complete composition, because, you know, coming from a beat maker and hip-hop background, you know, we tend to think in terms of loops instead of actual whole compositions. Maybe I'll do this again in the future, maybe not, but for now, back to the studio. This has been a quirky one, and subscribe to the channel if you liked it. Leave a comment. What do you have any ideas? What could I do next? Anything weird? Anything funny? Creative? I'm all for it. Bye.